So I'm going to jump ahead and show some field level tests. All of them are basically the same, going through wizards, but let's have a look at some field level tests on database to database level. And I mentioned before my data has been uploaded to SQL Server and I migrated to Snowflake. So one of the tests you might want to do is do some field level tests to make sure that the data integrity has been kept. And I'll start off by pointing to my SQL Server database. You can set up different connections using the ODBC connections, like ODBC drivers. You can extract DDLs and connect to them that way if the environment's not available and then run them later. But it does the same thing. It parses the schema and pulls the information back. I have 11 tables here. There's a couple I'm going to focus on, which is the hospital and state in today. But you can add filters by schemas and by table names as well when you're dealing with thousands of tables. I'll hit the next button, and now we're going to connect to my Snowflake instance. And what you can see now, it came back and said there's 130 tables up there. I'm not at all interested in all of them. There were some that when I first got my instance, they were already there, but you can see there's some that I actually uploaded. So I can actually filter by, for example, public, and just bring back all the tables that I actually uploaded myself. I'll hit the next button, and now we basically need to match the tables from source to target, as some renaming might have happened as part of the upload or the migration. It'll auto match where it can. If it hasn't found a match, you can manually map them by doing a simple drag and drop, and then mapping even the fields on the field level. But you can also create mapping files. You can manually map them here, then create a mapping file using the export, or you can load one in. I already have one set up, so I'm going to jump over here to my mapping files, and you can see table matching SQL to Snowflake. I'm going to load this up. Those are the two tables I'm interested in. You can see on the source I had 16, on the target I had 18, so 2 were added, for example, but you can drill down and actually see what tables were lost or added along the way. Okay. I'm going to hit the next button, and now I'll see my 2 tables and all the columns from the tables. So now I simply go through and say I want to do a minimum length test from the source and make sure it matches the target. Maximum length, whatever it might be, average length, min value, and these are all those templates. If I scroll to the end, you'll see there's the one I copied and pasted earlier when we saw the templates, and I customize it with the date function. So that can also be selected. So you can create and customize your own. You can delete the ones that are not relevant and select them using these tick boxes, just like I did with the file. What I'm going to do now is just go Control A, select all of them, which isn't correct, but just to show you, we can generate these tests on a large scale if we need to. Select my tick boxes for creating execution lists and risk-based testing with requirements, and now the same thing happens. Now it goes through and creates all the actual tests for us. Here you can see I've got 442, and once we have a large number of tests, Tosca DI will actually use parallel execution to reduce the runtime. This is all built in. We have parallel execution to run SQL queries in parallel, depending on the machine or server that's running the executions. And we also have multi-threaded execution in memory caching. So when you look at the data, it actually caches some of the data at runtime. None of that's stored within Tosca. It's in memory caching. It grabs the data it needs at runtime, compares it, and then drops it again. So let's have a quick look at what was created again. If I find my demo SQL for one of the tests, I'll jump to the actual test like I did before, do my expand, and what you'll see here is it's connected to my source, which is Medicare SQL database. Run my query. You can see it's removed the parameters and pulled the actual schema and tables in and the fields. There's my query that I amended and comparing it against the target, just like we saw before. It's also got the data sheets which have been created for source to target, which can be created and maintained here. And again, we have our requirements and our execution section.